Goodness knows why, but here is some more David Icke nonsense. This one is actually from David Icke's own channel. Terry Wogan interview. Nobody mentions David Icke. David Icke. Here we go, and I'll put a link to this video published December the 30th, 2016. Is that or 15? I can't quite see through the viewfinder, but. Anyway, this is let's just see what he's got to say on this one. Poor old Wogan doesn't get a look in. it's just a platform for Icke's ranting.
Welcome back to Wogan Amen. I first interviewed my next guest in 1991. Before then, he was best known as a popular BBC sports presenter, but by the time he'd appeared on Wogan, his life had taken a dramatic change. He proclaimed he was the son of the Godhead.
The son of the Godhead. I'm sure there's a misprint in there somewhere. Yeah, so this is now 15 years later. So this is 2006 that he's trying to interview David Icke.
Turquoise, as he believed, brought him closer to God. Have a look at this.
Oh yeah, he was saying that turquoise brings him closer to God. Of course, he's not wearing any turquoise here.
So evil has been in control of the planet for 12,000 years.
It has been the dominating force. Evil's not the right word. It is imbalance.
Or unbalanced, eh, Dave? I'm just going to pause that there. I've just moved this on a little bit forward. I have actually watched this, and I must admit I did get a bit of a chuckle out of it. And now remember, he's wearing his turquoise because it brings him closer to God. He's proclaimed that he is in fact the son of the Godhead. Now this is 15 years later in 2006, and listen to what Dave has to say about God.
Of the Roman Church. God save us from religion, by the way.
God save us from religion. Well, if he did that, he'd be out of business, wouldn't he? God save us from religion. Okay, next clip coming up. Okay, now Icke has just said that the whole planet's being controlled, you know, and Terry Wogan's just asking him, who's controlling it, Dave?
It's not happening by accident. Who is controlling people or trying to control them?
Well, there is a network of
Just out of curiosity, is there anybody out there that's not suffering from paranoia or schizophrenia or some sort of mental health issue that feels they're being controlled? Now, I live in Australia. I don't feel that I'm being controlled. Obviously, you know, society has to have rules to live by. You know, I might break the speed limit in the car from time to time, you know. We have to have a set of rules. I have to pay registration for the car. I have to pay bills. I mean, that's life. I don't feel that I'm being controlled. And if you take all that away, what have you got? It would be an absolute mess, wouldn't it? I mean, if everyone could drive as fast as they wanted to. If you didn't need broadcasting licenses for radio and television stations, it'd be absolute mess over every single radio and television band, because everyone would be putting radio and television stations on. You know, I do not personally. I don't feel controlled. You know, I can turn this camera off now, go and get in my car, go up the road, go to the supermarket, you know, go to a nightclub. I don't feel controlled personally, and I think that is just absolute rubbish. Anyway, back to the point. Who's controlling us?
that you can take back to the ancient world, to places like Babylon, Sumer, which is now Iraq. You can chart.
Yeah, Iraq's doing really well, isn't it?
Up them through to.
I mean, if ever there was a beacon of control, it's Iraq, isn't it?
Rome, where they were responsible for the road.
Have you seen how they drive in Rome? Do you get the impression that anybody there is any kind of control over the traffic in Rome?
Roman Empire and the creation of the Roman Church. God save us from religion, by the way. And
I still think that's funny. God save us from religion. What a moron this bloke is, really, isn't he? If he had, you know, if it. I'll just continue.
And then they came up into Europe to become the European aristocracy and royal families. Then through the great empires of Europe, especially the British Empire, but others too, these family bloodlines and the secret society network through which they manipulate themselves into power were exported all over the world.
Okay, where does Adolf Hitler come into this great plan, Dave? Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich, and the defeat of Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich. How does that fit into your plan?
And then when the point came where the European colonial powers appeared to give independence to these countries, that was only on the surface. What actually happened was the family bloodlines and the secret society network through which they manipulate was left out in these former colonies, and they've gone on controlling them ever since.
Yeah, I mean, South Africa, pretty good example of that, isn't it?
So what you have is a hidden hand where events are manipulated, like 9/11, which not just me, but endless other researchers now around the world have taken apart the official story. It insults the...
Yeah, lots of paranoid, delusional idiots have attacked the official story. Now, he says this attacks the intelligence of a 10-year-old, doesn't it? Hang on a sec.
Intelligence of a 10-year-old.
Yeah, it attacks the intelligence of a 10-year-old to consider that it's that the towers were brought down by what is it? Directed energy weapons powered by free energy. All this other bloody twaddle. It could be absolutely anything but what actually happened. You know, it can be anything but the terrorists hijacked the planes and flew them into the buildings. There's just something wrong with these. There's something wrong with this guy.
You have a hidden hand manipulating events, and the whole goal of it is centralization of power to the point where humans are little more than controlled clones.
Who's the hidden hand?
Now, just think about that for a minute. What would be the point of that? What would be the point of that? Can you imagine trying to control the entire population of the planet? You would be responsible for the healthcare for every single person on the face of the earth. You would be responsible for their social welfare. You would have to pay the ones that weren't employed dole money. You would have to give them social housing. Every single person on the face of the earth. You would be... it's bad enough that it's broken up into lots of little bits and it can't be adequately controlled. So trying to control the whole lot is impossible, and I can't imagine why on earth anyone would want to do that. I really can't. What would be the point of it? What would be the point of that?
And who are these hidden hands?
This network of families I'm talking about.
Yeah, that he doesn't name.
You find that people that are in positions of apparent power, like prime ministers and presidents, are actually puppets of the real power, which doesn't put itself on public display.
Yeah, the thing now, what? Just think about that for a second. So you've got this invisible group that's controlling every single prime minister and every single president on the face of the earth. Now, first of all, how ridiculous does that sound? Just think about that for a minute. Take the UK or Australia, for example, or even America. You've got this team of people that are controlling the president, the presidents and the prime ministers. So regardless of what party he is in, you've got this one single controlling body. That one single controlling body will let Obama make a load of changes, and then it will direct Obama to make a lot of changes, and then it will direct Trump to undo those changes. in the UK. You know, the Labour Party gets in, and they're directed by this mysterious, all-controlling group to make a lot of changes in the UK, and then the Labour Party gets voted out. Conservatives get voted in, and this all-controlling party directs the Conservatives to undo all the stuff that they directed the Labour Party to do. This is just beyond preposterous. What was this clown saying about this insulting the intelligence of a 10-year-old? Yeah, it's definitely there's definitely something wrong with this guy.
Hey, why would it? I mean, does anyone really think that George W. Bush is running America?
So, why did this all-powerful, invisible global cabal direct George Bush to go into Iraq? Why would you think they would have done that? You know, what's the end game for this group? Do you think they're having fun managing what they've been left with? I wouldn't want to try and manage it, that's for sure.
Couldn't tie his shoelaces, never mind run a country. Let me tell you this. Tell me about the project for the new American...
Oh, did I mention... Yeah, where's his turquoise, by the way? That seems to have disappeared, doesn't it?
American century. Tell me about it.
I know nothing about it.
Exactly. Well, let me tell you then something that you should know about. And this is written down. In the
Must be true then.
1990s, a organisation was created in America called the Project for the New American Century.
Yeah, created by who, Dave? And got any documentation to prove what you're saying here? So this was written down by who? Is this half a dozen nutcases in a pub over a bottle of Jack Daniels?
The people who created it were the people that had run the Bush administration from the moment it came to power. In the year 2000, in September,
yeah, got any evidence of that? Now, it is possible, actually, that... I think I've heard something about there was this agenda where they wanted regime change in the following countries, and the reasons for that were cheap oil. Simple as that. You know, it's nothing about running the bloody planet or anything else. They just want to run their V8s cheap for the next 30 years.
The New American Century produced a report, a document.
I think it was regime change in Iraq and Libya, and might have been Syria as well, and might have even been China. I thought, yeah, good luck with that one. But that's what these people do. You know, it's they'll look at these things and they'll say, now, wouldn't it be good if we could put a puppet president in here and get some cheap oil? Yeah, it's just rub. Hang on, I'll just pause that there. Where was I? Yeah, but okay. Well, let's see if he's got anything to back this up.
Calling for a series of conquests of countries, one of which was Iraq. He actually says in the document, words to the effect of, we must use the excuse of Saddam Hussein to go into Iraq.
Well, look, can I interrupt?
No, hold a second.
No, but honestly,
no.
Honestly, you see this.
See, but this is the thing, Terry. You see.
No, but honestly,
you say to me,
America is an open society, isn't it?
Oh, please!
It's not an open society.
I've got some seafront property in Birmingham, Terry. You might like to buy, mate. Honestly, please. Please. And they say I'm crazy and weird. America is an open society. My.
Well,
God.
I thought.
Well, they're all driving around in pretty cheap muscle cars and having barbecues and drinking beer and smoking cigarettes and eating supersized burgers. They don't look terribly controlled from where I'm sitting, I have to say. It looks like a pretty free and open society to me. Obviously, every government has to have secrets, military secrets and that sort of stuff. But America supposedly is the land of the free, isn't it? And I think... This is just absolute bloody rubbish. Okay, well, the battery on the camera is about to die in the derriere, so I'll either end this video here and thank you for watching if you've stuck with it this far, or I might charge the camera up and do a little bit more depending on what else he's got to say.